I guess, welcome to Lisa and Dani's impromptu
rant.
What the fuck report?
What the fuck report? I like
it.
It's Saturday, June
4th
in Oz. Friday, June 3rd, everywhere else in the world, I guess. And the last 48 hours has been kind of fucking interesting. Synchronicities of how information flows sometimes and the shit that comes up.
9/11. Mandela Effect.
Time loops.
Timelines, time loops, time dimensions.
CERN. And what the fuck did they do in Switzerland yesterday?
Now, apparently, when you open a tunnel these days, you don't just let off some fireworks, cut a ribbon, have somebody sing a song.
No.
Now you do
full-on satanic,
a mind-boggling, perverted, confusing. Can we call it a satanic ritual?
I don't know. All I know is even the mainstream media, we watch these kind of satanic type things, the Super Bowl halftime and the Olympics, and they do these ritual kind of things, and the media all goes, oh, that was so lovely, and all the rest of us are like, what the hell? No, this one in Switzerland yesterday, even the mainstream media was like, what was that? I don't get it.
She sent me a link and I watched it, and the first thing I said to her was, what did you make me watch? I'm traumatized.
What the fuck did you make me watch?
Okay, so where do we kick this off?
Okay, I think we just back up.
From the beginning?
Are we done with breaking the song and start singing the sound of the music song? We start at the very beginning. No. So there was a post in the Unfuckers room by Julia, and she was copying and pasting a post that, and a conversation between her and someone else that had happened back in 2013. And even the first paragraph of reading this, I was like, oh, okay, Lisa, you've got to read this because there's some shit in here that makes you go, oh, that's very interesting theories. So, do you have the entire document? The entire piece
I don't know if I've got the entire thing, but I've certainly got all of what was first posted.
Just the first part? Because we want to read this out because this started the whole kind of kickoff of the last 48 hours.
Now, while we do this, I want to ask, back in the post 9/11 research days, does anybody remember coming across the footage of a barge on the river that had a cube on it? Not the pyramid. There was a cube. There was a black cube.
I remember a barge on the river. I remember there being something on it, but I can't tell you if it was a cube or a pyramid or a sphere. All I remember is watching a video and the guy in the video saying, what the hell is that? What the hell is it doing there and why? And it was years ago. It was like
it was years ago.
Maybe 2004, 2003. Like, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago that surfaced, and then disappeared again.
And then it just disappeared because I actually went looking for that video footage just a couple of years ago and couldn't find anything about it. Like, literally nothing. I was like, okay, maybe I just was freaking hallucinating. Oh, maybe I just hallucinated that part. I don't know. Okay, so then Jeff just said, I remember the barge cube, and the guy posted about the hurricane that stayed off the coast. Yes, I do remember that. There was the whole thing about a hurricane.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, yes. Interesting. Okay, Lisa, stop choking.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so...
Or have another cigarette. It'll make you feel better.
Okay, now this is, again, messages that went back and forth between somebody in the UU room and somebody they knew on Facebook.
In 2013, so keep in mind, is when they talk about last year, they're talking about 2012.
Yep.
Okay.
They are definitely fucking with time. This man had a very interesting theory about December 21st, 2012 and 9/11 and CERN. I happened to find the conversation back from 2013. He also showed me a picture of the Colgate clock on the day the towers fell. Next to it, there is a black cube. Excuse me, sorry guys. Here's part of what he told me. I'm writing a book on it right now. Up until December 21st, 2012, there was no 9/11. We were in a post-9/11 peaceful world with no Iraq war, no Libya. Things were heading towards a half-decent state. Free energy was surfacing and real democracy was developing. That's why they built CERN and developed the D-Wave quantum computers so that they could instigate 9/11 a year ago yesterday to change the timeline we would never know because the memory of the other timeline turned to dust like the towers did. You can actually look up, there is a website for D-Wave quantum computers.
And I've looked into this before. You want me to read?
Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Okay, D-Wave quantum computers. Hold on, guys. I got to catch it where we are. They couldn't allow a world where we would become free. That simply was too much. So they did 9/11 a year ago yesterday. This was in 2013, remember? With the biggest series of energy experiments from the 17th to the 21st of December 2012 at CERN using quantum computers and unfolding tesseract probability curves. Absolutely, we know this for a fact. They planned it and pressed the button last year. Then time ended as we know it. Bang on the end of the Mayan calendar, just as predicted, linear time has ended. Not the end of the world, the end of time. This is why 9/11 looks like a movie even to those who were there. This is why it's all a bit weird and why the BBC reported Tower 7 falling 20 minutes before it did because they lost sync with the future. The buildings turned to dust. Cars melted blocks away. There's so many odd things that don't add up. The Pentagon attack, everything is like one big fake movie. That's because it is. It was created last year and inserted into the 9/11/2001, thus creating a post-9/11 world of control and corporate rule where the demonics shit down our neck with impunity. I like that turn of phrase. CERN is not just a time machine and a particle accelerator. It's a gate for the forces of darkness, and it's open, and they now infest the world at every level. Obama is a 100... Okay, this is when we get into the whole things of like demonic stuff. You know me and that whole... I just ignored that word, demonic. Obama is 100% demonic that crawled out of a tank in a lab, purpose-made for the job. His birth certificate controversy is just a smokescreen to get you to think that he was actually born. People have no idea of the technology being employed against them. They sense something is very wrong, but just how far wrong they'll never know. We're in a time when evil has power for a while, that's all. Good always prevails. You are just going through the shock of the wake-up phase. Stay strong and have good faith. It's not easy, I know, but you are not alone. It's much tougher to open your eyes from a dream to a nightmare than to stay in the cozy dream. We have to wake up. For to keep our heart pure, we must see the evil of our enemy and stand up to it. We face the occult, the hidden. I too have felt this very deep hurt here in my own country and in the USA and found that hard to believe. We must assume it's true. Our leaders are all demonic. Obama, Cameron, the Queen, they lie, they cheat, they deceive to keep their power. They fear God, and believe me, God is coming for them, and it won't be pretty. The world has to get to this state so that God can weed out these demons. And we get into a bunch of the whole kind of religious rhetoric stuff that, does it, weeding out the demons and the wheat from the chaff kind of stuff. It is but the dark before the dawn, Julia, and you're brave, you're beautiful, and you got love on your side. It's going to be okay, my dear. Don't worry about the string theory or quantum theory and technical side. I won't go into all of that. You don't need to look at the dummy books, even because the main thread is about consciousness, artificial intelligence, artificial consciousness. You betcha you'll feel topsy-turvy. Me too. I want to be wrong, but look around you. Look at the world. Just look at what's going on since 9/11. Every way they can, they're shafting us, and their power is growing. They take what they want with impunity. The demons are loose, and I want to be wrong. My only hope is that their machine will crash in the future and take this quantum probability field with it. This false timeline is just a quantum probability field, and it can crash like a computer can. And if And if it does, things will immediately go back to the correct timeline. And there will be absolutely no recollection of 9/11. The towers will still be there tomorrow. Well, going back and okay. Yeah. So many things came up. We discussed this on and off for hours and hours after reading this piece. The bit about CERN. So, absolutely verifiable. We know that CERN did something massive December 21st, 2012. We know that from that point on, CERN was shut down, broken, blown up, whatever they did to it, until, the year 2015, last year, when they started filling it up and cooling it off and getting ready to run particle experiments right at the beginning of the year.
Now, Dee did an article in March of 2015 on CERN. And in the
recording,
article,
Transpicuous News recording, so we have the recording of it and all the links.
In the links, all of the attached links, there's a link to an article on which website?
About the Dance of Shiva that they did to launch the reopening of CERN. On it wasn't Before It's News, it was one of the other websites like that.
But if you click on that link now, that was posted on her website in March
18th.
The link is still live, and when you go there, it says the article was posted in July
2015. That's when the article says it was posted.
How could she have done a show in March referencing an article that wasn't posted until July?
Yeah, that's number one.
How does that work?
Right off the hop, we're like, okay, where did the article... I'm not even sure.
It doesn't say it was edited or updated or anything. No, it says it was posted.
July 16th of 2015, when I've got a recording of me talking about the exact same article and showing the article on Transpicuous News in March. So, yeah, fuckery. Much fuckery is going on. CERN started up again 2015. And we've talked about this. 2015 was the year of epic.
You guys remember how 2015 started? When it hit January 2015, just after New Year's, in that first week or so, so many of us were going, what just happened? And Lily came out and said, it's 2017 now. It's like we've just jumped 2 years. It was bizarre, but it felt really, really positive at the time. There was this, everything's changed, everything's shifted, everything feels good. And there was a number of people, Lily wasn't the only one, saying it's now 2017.
Yeah, somehow we've jumped a couple of years. Or we'd been dumped back and we jumped back. Well, that's now my thought. It's like, were we tossed backwards and now we would jump back to, what was our year? Seriously, what is a year? I'm to the point now where I question every calendar, question every date. I don't even know if this is spring, summer, winter, or fall anymore. But it's raining, so we may have to break this short to go build an ark. So... So we know that CERN was shut down right after December 21st, 2012. We know this for a fact. We know that something happened, something big, it took them 3 years basically to rebuild. 2 years and a bit to rebuild CERN, to be able to start the experiments again. And they started again, so we're told. And they started again in December 2014, the very end, is when they started cooling off all the magnets and start refilling the cryo chambers. And March 22nd is the day they fired off the first protons. March 22nd, 2015, the day they fired off the first protons. Do you remember what happened March 22nd?
No, you're the one with the head for dates.
If I'm not, I went back and was looking at all this. Now I'm kind of flooded with all these dates because I just did a huge CERN review. That was when the airplane crashed into the Swiss Alps.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Airplane crashed into the Swiss Alps, killing everyone on board. Same day, March 22nd. Now, all last year, we had really insane shit happen. We saw the Mandela Effect stuff just skyrocket. And exponentially skyrocket. It wasn't just Sex in the City and Luke, I am your father. I mean, it was the moon landing. It was universal blood type. It was the Lord's Prayer. It was...
And apparently there is a new wave happening right now of people who are just discovering the Mandela Effect.
All over Facebook, it's kind of gone kaboom again, and people are freaking out because I'm sorry to say it, but you've just touched the tip of the iceberg. Wait till you really get into
It's the new black.
Yeah.
ME is the new black.
People are freaking out about Bernstein Bears and J.C. Penney and Cup of Noodles.
Okay,
Just
getting
wait
to
till you
Bernstein
really get
Bears.
into this. Oh!
There is a video, and I think we can play it. Let's try and play it for them, because to try and just pick out the good bits, there's too many, all right?
We've got a few things.
We're going to have to get rid of all of this first. Where did I put
How many do you have open?
I put it. Where did I put it?
I don't know.
I put it in the Skype room, but I don't really want to open Skype. I'm not even going to give you. I'm just going to let you watch it because it's just too.
Which one is it? I don't even know.
The amber one.
Oh crap! I didn't watch that whole thing because I couldn't get it to load at the time. I was having issues.
Yeah, no, you've got to see this.
Okay. Amber. Is that it?
Okay, now I am going to share screen, and hopefully it will play. Can you guys hear anything? No?
Do is show you kind of what went down on 9/11. It kind of goes along with what I've been trying to show you, dealing with time and space. You look at this picture, it's interesting that this picture's set up to see the whole panoramic view. You got the towers, you got the bay. But the interesting thing is, if you look at the right side of the picture, see how it's darker blue than the left side? That's really interesting. I don't know of any kind of camera that does this. This looks like it's the same frame that somebody split in half. Or a mirror image, which is interesting, mirror image. There's a lot of meaning behind that as far as the occult goes, but we'll try and keep that off to the side for right now. So we can see the trail of the boat going from the center of the bay off to the lower right-hand side. So everything looks, if you look close, it looks like it's lined up, yeah? But there's a very, very interesting thing in here, which caught my mind. Now, this was just one clip in a video, and I'm real good at catching stuff. So let's take a look at the one thing that really caught my eye, and hopefully it'll make an impression on you as well. If we cue in on this is a barge, I believe. It's full of gravel and sand and piles. But interestingly enough, if we look, what is their perfectly paced pyramid doing on here? That's not a pile of dust. That's not a pile of dirt. That's not concrete. That is a pyramid. A pyramid is a time cube. Remember I told you, if you look at a pyramid from the top, it makes an X box. That's what the pyramids are. They are time cubes. They have to do with time and space. Okay, that's exactly what the big ones represent. They represent the planet Saturn. So here we have a connection. First of all, we have the picture is goofy because it's darker on one side than the other. And now we have a pyramid sitting on a dock or on a barge of the morning of 9/11. Okay, this is interesting. This gets better, folks. Hang with me. So what is that thing doing there? Why is this thing, even if somebody photoshopped that in there, why would they? Okay, who set up the cameras to look right at the buildings? Okay, all this goes together. Believe me, at the end, it even gets better than this. So let's go back to the original picture, and I'll do a time-lapse photo of what happened on 9/11, and you'll see, just like I did, what's going on here. Now I want you to make sure that you keep your eyes on the pyramid. You see it? It's on the dock in front of you, the lower left-hand corner. You see that pyramid? Keep your eyes on it, and I'll do it. I'm going to go ahead and do the time photo lapse here. You'll see the towers. They get hit. They come down. They turns into nighttime, but something very interesting happens. Okay, so let's watch that. So interesting, as you saw, as well as I did, the pyramid disappears, which means somebody had to come in there and physically remove that thing. And I said, even if that was photoshopped in, somebody had to go into the film and erase it. I don't believe it was photoshopped in because when you see the next thing, all these three things are all gonna come together. This was all done on time and space manipulation. I keep trying to tell people that this is based off of time and space. They've been messing with it. That's what CERN is. That's why this picture is funky, where the screen is split. This thing stinks to high heaven. But I've been telling you this is why the buildings were pulverized, because it didn't happen on the third dimensional level that you think it did.
the button to type.
Sorry, Jay's pressed buttons.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. I just tried to type something in. I'm sorry. And it should go right back to where it was. Isn't it? We're at alternate. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm really sorry. I just tried to type something in. There is no sound. From this point on in the video, there is no sound. It's just reading. Yeah, keep going. There.
There is no sound. There's no audio. It's just reading at the moment.
cancel button. Start playing.
Okay.
So is your little brain's blown? Because my little brain was blown when I literally went, the first thing I did was go look up. Someone said amber means Bernstein. In German is Bernstein. I immediately went to my German dictionary and went, oh my God, it is. Oh. And just to throw the coincidences out there, guess what TV show I totally randomly, started rewatching again this week? Fringe. Oh, out of the blue. It's like, well, let's just put this on. We've got nothing to watch. We'll start watching Fringe again. Before any of this came up.
You can't make this shit up, as Dee and I have been saying.
You just can't. If I honestly think that if some
Sandra's doing
scriptwriter,
Fringe for the 6th time. I'm going to have to start again tonight myself.
Maybe we'll have to. Yeah, we're only on like episode 4 on season 1 or something. But I'm like,
but the thing interesting about Fringe, right? The premise in Fringe is that it's the human race coming back from the future, right? Now that ties in with, and they also, if you want to follow that line of thinking, they say that the Greys are actually a
sub-race of humans from the future.
Who
fuck themselves.
These guys from Fringe look like they would be halfway through that process. They're all bald, they're pale, they're kind of unemotional. You could see that as some kind of evolutionary step towards that. There's been so much, and it's all tied in together. In the last 48 hours, things have just gone stupid. So,
CERN.
Okay, CERN, then the tunnel, and I have to pee, so I'll be back.
You pee. I'll talk about it. And then I got to pee, actually. See, we should have had our toilet breaks before we started recording. So CERN, and I went through everything, and I was like, you need the little reminders. So I was like flipping through all my news reports for last year. CERN. So when did they fire up? And you have the gold wings crash into the Swiss Alps. And we have things like the mysterious hammer found, or the tool that was found in one of the rings, and dust particles. And then we've got pauses here and pauses there. And the whole thing. Am I frozen, guys? Can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's okay, we're good now. We froze for a second because our internet is unstable.
It's not coping with the storm.
You go and we look at all the events, and we look at all these bizarre things that have happened. And our previous conversations we've been having for, basically since, especially last spring, the conversations we've had on the show, talking about the Mandela Effect stuff. And then the various bits that have happened to CERN, various things that have happened where we've had weather anomalies, all bizarre kind of events that are playing out all over the place that we just keep going, what? This is not my reality. Over and over again. This is not my reality. So, yeah. You take it from here. I got to run off for a second.
Okay. So, 9/11 keeps popping up. It was kicked off by that conversation, that thread in the UU room, and which led us to that video with the barge, which led us to, which also got mentioned, the Colgate total clock apparently sits on 9/11. And this recent tunnel opening, there is a point in that bizarre event where they're kind of bowing at a clock, worshipping a clock. And if you have a look, and we slowed it right down. The clock's turning as it should, and then it hits 9/11, and then it bounces back again. And then it goes around, hits 9/11, and bounces back again. So looking at this in terms of the Mandela Effect, if there's any kind of truth to the idea that it was around 2012 that they actually inserted this event back in the history of the timeline for 9/11. And we're seeing all of these, if it was the pulling in of another dimension or the pulling in of another timeline or the overlaying or whatever these CERN's trying to do, at the moment, all the Mandela effects, as we've noticed, have been roughly around popular culture and things like that. But the conversation that we had yesterday over this, I said, what happened? What's going to sort of be the telltale sign for me will be, because I think everybody on the planet knows where they were the moment those planes hit those towers.
You know exactly what you were doing.
Or when they came down, or when you heard about it, or whatever. It's part of the collective. No one denies seeing it on TV. Or maybe even being there in New York on the ground.
Or hearing
right?
the news.
It's part of everybody's collective. This is what happened. Those towers disappeared on that day. If we start having anomalous memories around 9/11, to me that'll be evidence that something about that date, that something was inserted. And the guy in that conversation talked about, it's like watching a movie. It is a movie. For most of us, it's a movie. It's something we saw on screens. It's like, and I compared it to the moon landing. No one denies that they heard it on the radio or saw it on TV. It's part of the collective that there was this claim that we landed on the moon. There's a whole bunch of conspiracies as to whether or not it actually happened, whether it was filmed in a studio, whether they actually went there or whatever. There's lots of arguments about what took place, what actually took place, but there's no argument about the fact that the landing of the moon was a film on TV.
Yeah.
And it's the same with 9/11. No one denies that it was a film they saw on TV. Was it holographic planes? Was it all done with explosions and a demolition? You know, I mean, all the conspiracies
bomb,
are there.
it was, all
but
these.
the fact that it happened is not in question yet. And that's the Mandela effect I'm looking for, is if the 9/11 memories start to change. It feels more and more like CERN is trying to either overlay or merge or impose. And again, we don't know really what we're talking about, whether it's timelines, whether it's dimensions, whether it's programs written into a
Simulation. Oh, and I want to talk about that too.
But they're trying to rewrite it, and it's not sticking. It's falling apart.
There's bleed through, and I think that's the whole thing. The memories are bleeding through, and it's really, really interesting. I look at that, for example, like you said about 9/11. It's like I can remember so clearly exactly what I was doing. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was going I can literally visualize exactly what I was doing in the moments thereof. I'm doing research on the computer because I was looking for a job at the time, and the news was on the TV, watching breakfast television in Toronto, and literally stepping away from the computer and turning and looking just because something in the tone of voice of the guy who's doing the announcing triggered me. Like all of a sudden his voice, and you turned to look, and I watched it happen. Why is that memory so clear?
Now,
it's
Barbara,
almost
Barbara had an extraordinary experience on that day. I don't know if you remember that story. She was in Midtown when this happened. She got stuck in town for hours.
Oh,
and
I
then
didn't know
she
that.
had to drive back to Long Island.
Oh, crap.
Big highway. She goes past the airport, and there's not another car on the road. And the car park of the airport, which is usually absolutely, this is the short-term car park where daily commuters, there isn't any cars in the car park.
What?
And she said the whole thing was eerie. It should have been chaos. It should have been people everywhere. It should have been stuck and abandoned people everywhere. But there was no cars in the car park, and there was no other cars on the road.
Okay, well, you know what that immediately throws me over to?
She wasn't in the right dimension.
Apparently, Barbara, you weren't in the right place. But just directly into my head the first time you said that, the videos of Geneva. There's the whole thing. They're trying to say that CERN was shut down or blew up in December last year, something. And there was a lot of reports about it. And one of the things that they showed was the street cams from Geneva showing it empty. Geneva empty. There was no one on the road. There was like a highway. All the office buildings were like dark. There was no movement anywhere. Okay, let's kind of hypothesize something. If you can manipulate time dimensions, timelines, insert your own word here, and we have a timeline where, let's say, CERN does blow up, but then they can switch it, and they jump to another timeline to make it so that CERN isn't blown up. Therefore, you can have this thing where basically both groups are right. The groups are saying, no, CERN blew up, and the groups are saying, no, CERN's still running. Is that one of those anomalies?
To me, there's something funky about the time period between December 2012, when CERN apparently did what it did, and then when it started up again. I feel like that's a period of time worth investigating. Okay, so Joseph said something on the line.
Joseph has just discovered the the Lord's Prayer, Mandela Effect, and he sent me a message this morning going, oh, yeah, we've already discussed it quite in depth, Joseph.
For months.
For months. Like that one is when we figured out that one came up in September 2015, end of September 2015 when that one was discovered, and the lion shall lay down with the lamb, which is now the wolf.
What if an overlay accounts for the seeing of two suns and two moons?
And that is one of the things I wanted to bring up. If we are if we're experiencing breakthrough, and that's what the Mandela Effect is, literally cracks within that matrix, whether it's a simulation matrix, whether it's cracks in dimensions, timelines, whatever. And that's why we're experiencing, hearing, listening to these Mandela effects. Would it not be possible then to also be visually seeing those same cracks, i.e. suns in the wrong places? I.e., okay, let's take it one step further. How about the insane fucking weather? Where the weather goes from like, what is a beautiful, hot fucking sunny day, to all of a sudden it's fucking winter. Click, click. Flash floods that are just happening out of nowhere. Okay, and I haven't had a chance to put this together, the show yet, but I will do it on Trend Speakers News. I'm going to have to put a little brief one together. I talked about the lightning strikes earlier this week, the ones that happened in Europe that killed the people, and it was really bizarre. And as soon as I read all the news coverage of it and listened to it,
Sorry, guys.
Hi, sorry about that.
Completely dropped.
I don't know what was the last thing you heard me saying, but I'll just reiterate. So earlier this week, I did the report about the lightning strikes in Europe. And the more I dig into that, you have the ones in France, Germany, and in Poland is the one that they didn't really talk too much about. I have friends in France. We have contacts in Germany. And we had Barbara in Texas. When they had lightning strikes in Texas, 6 hours before the lightning strikes in France, there were massive lightning strikes in Texas where she was, and flash floods. And the same thing happened in all places. I've got now confirmation, boots on the ground confirmation. There was no fucking rain.
Oh, there's a little bit.
There was a bit of rain. There was rain, sprinkly, showers. And then all of a sudden, there were massive flash floods that came out of nowhere. Friends in Germany, my girlfriend, who I talked to all of her friends in Germany, said the same, who were in the area with
someone
massive
say the
flash
flooding
floods.
came before the rain?
There was no fucking rain to account for the flash floods. There was these massive lightning strikes and no fucking rain. And all of a sudden, They called it a tsunami. That's how big the flash flood was. France, same thing. I have friends in Paris and friends outside Paris who confirmed there was no fucking rain other than just normal little bit of rain. And then massive flash floods. We have the show with Barbara on the Collective Imagination this week, talking to Lisa, who she knows nothing about what I've been doing. And she's telling Lisa about how she videotaped these lightning storms in Texas, and it was raining a little bit, but just a little bit, and then there was a flash flood. Okay, so I want to hypothesize. Are we seeing some kind of a breakthrough? Is this some kind of crack between the dimensions, time frames, however you want to phrase it, in the way that we see the Mandela effects bleeding through? We're seeing now bleed through of other events happening?
Ohio, light sprinkles, then flooding.
We had that in Ohio yesterday. Okay, light sprinkles and then flooding. Okay, we have had some really, really, really bizarre shit. It is unexplainable. Now, same thing. The lightning storms, these lightning that hit was ground lightning. Now we have massive pictures now. I've got multiple. Barbara's worked on compiling a few things for me as well. There's several videos that I posted on Facebook that show ground lightning strikes. The lightning coming up from point in the ground, single point in the ground, up across the sky, over and over again. And it was just unbelievable lightning strikes. And again,
are these Earth's responses? Is she discharging?
Because I think that's what it is.
And there was that strange geyser.
So I don't even know where the hell that came from.
I don't even know where this video footage was taken, but there was this huge water geyser just sort of spurted up out of nowhere. And there was massive volumes of water coming out of the ground, but it wasn't going anywhere. Like it was as if it was going back down into the ground, and almost like a perpetual fountain.
Like the fountains that you have in a shopping mall that just keep cycling the water through. That's what it looked like.
It should have flooded that area so fast because it was really, really big
water geyser. And where's the water?
But nothing. Everyone's standing around it in a circle, and no one has to move because the water just doesn't go anywhere.
And yet there's this huge geyser. Too many freaking bizarre anomalies. Okay, and I get weather manipulation. I get it. And HAARP and all of those things. I get it. No, I'm sorry. They don't have the... I honestly do not think that they have the power to achieve the bizarre fuck-uppery that we have seen weather-wise all over the planet in the last year. It is insane.
No, I actually think to some degree, greater or lesser, possibly even greater, that a lot of what we're seeing is Earth rebalancing, purifying, perhaps even going back to what we're told is the mild subtropical climate all over, all reacting. The flooding here is insane. Storms for weeks, lightning and the massive storms with no thunder.
That's one of the big things for me. When there's no thunder, honest, and I can't prove this scientifically. I wish I could, but with everything I've been trying to look through, massive amounts of data, this whole thing of no thunder with the lightning it's got to be an Earth discharge. It's discharging from the Earth. It's not going through the atmosphere or coming from the atmosphere. It's going from the Earth out. That's why there's no thunder. The whole thing, like I said, the family and the birthday party in Paris.
I didn't know that either, Jed. Apparently Yellow Rose for Texas says that the Earth has to be wet for the event. Not that I buy into it, just saying.
I've never heard that.
Either had I.
Never heard that.
Kimberly's been saying that they're now kind of going tropical in West Texas. What else was there in reference to all of this?
Okay. Then we have this conversation all day yesterday, all about this. And Lisa and I are back and forth, Nick and Ben, and we're all kind of hashing shit out, and then we have a lull. And Lisa goes off for the evening. Why did your Skype just randomly start?
I didn't randomly. I actually started it.
Oh, okay. So Lisa goes off for the evening to go spend an evening away. And I come across this video. Someone sends me this video of, in Switzerland, the opening ceremony for this tunnel opening. And even mainstream media, RT, I was like, what the fuck is this? What? And I sit and I watch this. And I get Nick and I get Ben, and we're all we're literally watching this video of this opening ceremony in Switzerland yesterday. And the whole time it's just like, what are we watching? It makes no fucking sense. It's insane. And then you look at some of the symbology in it. I mean, and I'm going to pull up the video. I'll send you the video link. Or do you have the RT video link still on your Facebook that you can just fire it up?
Maybe.
And we're going to play it. Because it's only about 3 minutes long. We have to play this video. You guys have to witness this. What's this? That's the Amber.
Oh, and also twice yesterday, I came across 2 separate articles by 2 different people and one of them was Elon Musk, and I can't find the other one again now, but Elon Musk was the second one I came across. Elon Musk says the chance that we are living, what was the title?
The chance that we are living in a base reality.
Artificial intelligence, computer simulation, virtual reality. It's like 1 billion to 1 that we're not.
Yeah. The chances that we are living in a base reality of actual real reality and not a simulation is 1 billion to 1, according to Elon Musk.
And the other one I saw was, it was based on experiments, actual experiments that are being done by quantum physicists who have come to the conclusion that there is a 99% chance we are living in a simulated reality.
Yep.
Again, this kind of information, and it all just sort of comes up in waves.
It comes in waves, all at the same, and this is all.
Now, what did you want me to look for?
Well, the Elon Musk one is another one that came through last night. So in a 24-hour period, we have all these pieces, boom, 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 boom. Up here, I will.
What did you want me to bring up?
The RT video of the Swiss opening ceremony.
Are we going to really subject people to that?
We have to show people this because you are not going to believe this, and I want, because there's of course the piece at the very end, which blew my fucking mind. I don't think it was on YouTube, so I don't think you'll find it there. It wasn't on YouTube, I don't think.
You sure?
Yep. No.
Yeah. Bizarre opening ceremony.
But that's not the one I wanted to watch. I want the one on RT. Hold on.
Okay.
Give me a second, guys. Give me a quick second.
Where did you send it to me? Facebook?
Facebook. Yeah, if you go to Facebook, I sent it to you on Facebook. Lisa will grab it. Because in all of our conversation, well, never mind. You guys watch it.
This one?
Yep, that's the one. You can put it up to full screen.
This one?
Do it, yeah. This guy, wait, it's gonna. Here, go. We're gonna show. Go. And at the very end, and beyond all the rest of the symbology, the very end, the giant clock that they're all bowing down and worshiping to, when it starts spinning backwards, the time it stops at is exactly 9/11. And we had Darius upload the video, put it through his processor, so he could slow it down to major slow that clip down. And yes, the clock bounces back and goes back in time to 9/11 before it bounces back forward and back and forward. So I'm going to get Darius to actually excerpt the whole piece out so we can try and see.
It looks like it goes 9/11, goes the other way to 9/11, goes the other way to 9/11. That's what it looks like it's doing.
So we're gonna take a look at that, and if we can isolate that and make it a little clip that we can actually post with this. And I just literally, it was just jaw on the floor. And you go, all the symbology of CERN that is in that entire opening ceremony in Switzerland, they spent 11 years and $17 billion tunneling a tunnel through the Swiss Alps. Yeah, I don't believe it. Do you believe it? I certainly don't fucking believe it. Why the fuck bother? The other thing they use tunnels for is linear colliders, though. And the one thing we have is a whole lot of linear colliders all over the planet who are all booting up this year.
I don't know who those big-headed people were supposed to represent. I actually thought, for some reason, just then I thought Merkel in the coloured shirt. I don't know why. That's just big head. Oh, it is insane. If you watch the whole thing,
and that's only one little clip.
It just gets weirder.
Go to YouTube and do a search, Switzerland opening ceremony tunnels, and just set the filter to this week. There are several, like 5 and 6 minute videos of other whole segments that they don't even show you there that happen in the tunnel. There's some like some baby in a big head,
a gimp kind of leather strapped, winged, baby headed, fluffy thing. I don't even know what it is.
It's in the Unfuckers room. I posted the video after the RT video. I actually was like, and then there's this piece. People having kind of sex, pretending to have sex on the stage. All these workers in their underwear.
Jeff's spinning clock. Remember that?
Oh, Jeff's spinning clock.
What were we talking about that day is what he's wondering.
Okay, we need to find the video where that happened. And I keep saying this because this has come up a couple of times since then. I'm like, we need to find it. And someone Nick could figure out the math on it, of approximately where it started and where it ended, and how much time from the start of his clock going backwards to it stopping, and figure out how many...
Cammy, 9/11, as in September 11, the day the towers went down.
Just insane.
Am I getting what I asked for? Oh, okay.
What?
Oh, I thought, am I getting what I asked for? Someone's going, what's 9/11? No.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, just all of those pieces, all in 24-hour period. Like all from morning, us getting up, Lisa and I started yesterday morning discussing with the host that we opened up the show with, just talking, reading out loud all day. Then there was the Elon Musk interview, which is actually a giggle, and we'll post the link in here because what he has to say about the whole simulated reality and is quite funny. and the Swiss tunnel opening ceremonies, all within not even 24 hours. That was like within an 18-hour period. I used to go,
just reoccurring themes. Amber, 9/11, CERN.
why did we pick this week to start watching Fringe again, out of the blue?
Mandela Effect, Bernstein. That I don't even know how to explain how much that blows my mind. The Bernstein means amber.
Yeah. With all the other, yeah.
There we go.
And there is an explosion happening right now of kind of the next wave of people discovering this whole Mandela Effect stuff. And it's each wave as it's coming through exponentially gets bigger. Because it's that whole thing like, you know, the shampoo commercial from the 70s, and she told two friends, and they told two friends, and so on, and it increases. So that's each wave, it's like what we saw back when we were discussing it last summer, 2015, there was like this small little group of people who kind of knew what we were talking about, and then it kind of came through in another wave in September, October with the whole Lord's Prayer shit, and the wave got bigger. And then there was another wave that hit around January when something else came out and the wave got bigger. And now it's, again, another wave is coming through right now. And it's like a tsunami where people are just losing their shit because these little everyday things like the name of J.C. Penney or Cup of Noodle or Sex in the City or whatever, more and more and more. There's so many now that your brain can't complete. You can't compute it.
Okay, Mad Tom's put the link to Elon Musk's.
Awesome, because it is really, really a great little interview. It's quite funny. It's very funny to watch.
Yeah, I think...
Oh, that's interesting. Philip, we're all the orange people's seamen moving up the tunnel into a new creation. A representation of the creation at the clock time, a ritual of the birth of this time starting from 9/11. I'm not going to say it wrong. No, it's not one that I just say, no, I think that.
The Monkey and the Goat referencing Box Saga. I don't know enough about that yet.
No, neither do I.
I've got to look at it, find out more. Yeah, the white powder.
Yeah, what's all the white, they're throwing white powder everywhere?
And you
didn't see that.
The gold. The
white gold?
The white gold.
Ooh, interesting. Monatomic gold?
Monatomic gold, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Philip.
Yeah, but the workmen were about the 8 people that died during the construction, but yeah, there's a lot more than 8 of them. And
which 8? What are you talking about?
Apparently the 8 people who died during the
construction. Are they the ones who
were maybe those are the ones that were falling? Sacrificed? I don't know. Sorry.
When I saw that, the falling, and what was on the background, do you remember the TV show, was it called Time Tunnel or something? And they had the black and white.
That's right, and the people would do that. I'm falling. Look at me on that green screen.
That's what I remember.
Actually, yeah, very much so. Anyways, all I have to say is this shit opens up so many questions, and the whole CERN thing. Yeah, the ions, the lead ions.
But I feel like it's bringing up more and more opportunities for us to make a difference. If we
keep talking about it?
No, I feel like we just have to collectively choose, individually and collectively choose whatever dimensional timeline we want to be on.
Not this one.
Not this one, no. There's something about some of the rose material. There's something about even some of the older New Age material. There's something about
there's pieces and everything.
Ancient material that all kind of lines up that we are at this choice point. And who knows? I mean, it may well be that all we do is graduate to a different freaking simulation.
You've won this level. You get 4 extra free lives. And here's your bag of gold.
Ding, 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 ding.
Off you go to Narnia. Or something.
But I don't even know how to explain this, but in some way, shape, or form, seeing all of this bizarre fuckery, because it's so beyond explanation organically that it's in some way empowering. It feels like we are moving into, I can't explain it. I haven't had to explain it before this moment, but we're fucking with it more than we know.
Yeah, I think so.
More than we're conscious of. And whatever we're doing subconsciously is messing with the program. And
I don't think it's even,
if we took
it's subconsciously, but I think it's multi-layers, subconsciously and consciously.
What happens if we actually really consciously, I feel like we're moving, I actually do. I feel like this is all just, it's shimmering in and out of existence. We've seen it. We talk about the visual things. We talk about the sensory stuff that we're going through. Okay. It's like the whole thing is just sitting there so fucking fragile.
But things keep, and I know that it's, there's like the greater, if I want to use that word, what was that?
Joseph found it. September 1, 2011, 2015. Where did that come from? One People Roundtable at 1 hour and 18 minutes approximately. Jeff's clock starts jumping ahead.
Okay, well, we're going to have to pull up that show. Jeff, you have an assignment. I'll actually get Nick to see if Nick can work out the math on it, because he's the only person I can think of who can put the math together on that. There's a greater... okay, so this is good. We're getting into the weird shit, like our conversation you and I had yesterday. There's the greater collective fuck-uppery of everything we're seeing, and there's all these Mandela effects, et cetera, et cetera. And then on the roundtable this week, I talked about in the last 2 weeks, I've seen a flip. There's something flipped. And I don't know if it's me. In my own timeline, personal timeline reality, or a timeline reality that I just happen to be fucking stuck in. I don't know. How do you define that? I don't know. On Saturday, there was another. So there was like I said, there was like about 2 weeks ago, there was a big flip. There was a really big flip for me in all kinds of ways. Then on Friday night, we talked about this on the show, and it wasn't until after the show I had a chance to think of this through. I said Friday night, there was like all this tones changed. All the fucking tones changed Friday night, and they're still the same. They're still really, really loud, shifted. Saturday, everything fell apart. For me, in a lot of ways. And it's continued this entire week. Everything's falling apart. And again, to me, I was like, was there another jump? Was there another shift? What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened Friday night or Friday that I may not have noticed until Friday night with the shifting of the tones, and then the shit with PayPal, and then the shit with our visas, then the shit with everything that's happened this week. It's been insane. On a personal level for me, little things have been absolutely, I can't even define. And I sit there with the big question going like, what the fuck is this? And how do you move forward and change it? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
because I can't define it. I can't define it any better than that.
Is it as simple as making a conscious choice? I want to be on a positive. I want to be on a timeline that.
And that's been my whole week. My whole week has been sitting and having moments of going, I do not accept this timeline. This is not my timeline. I want to be on the positive timeline. I want to be doing positive things. Positive things are coming. Everything's going to be positive. Just put, you sit then you go, okay, there's time to really focus on that. I don't know.
Okay, some interesting stuff going on in here. About that clip with Jeff and his but if it's at the 119 mark exactly, then that's 9/11 backwards. And somebody said a girl I went to school with passed away in a Jeep accident in 1980. Now that's pretty specific.
Yeah.
A couple of years back, I find she's alive. If my husband shows up from the dead, I will lose my shit.
I have more and more stuff of that kind of shit coming out too, and it's really interesting. There's been a couple of videos. Did you mention it in that Amber video, or was it one of the other videos you and I were watching? They talk about timeline shift, where basically something happens to you in this timeline, like you get killed, you're in a car accident, and then you jump. Because it's a fluke thing that happens, and you're supposed to keep going, so you jump into the next timeline. And we've discussed this over the last year too, and how many people have had experiences where they've had wild experiences, and then all of a sudden, shit just shifts, and nothing's the same anymore, yet they're still there.
But also going back to what we've talked about in the past too, about the whole merging alternate versions of ourselves.
That's one of my questions.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, just for what if's sake.
Let's play the what if game. Oh, my favorite game.
If it is, say CERN. Say CERN is responsible for all this shit, and they're pulling in different timelines or dimensions or whatever in the hopes that they can grab onto a good one for them and make it stick. But when they do that, are we getting two collapse in on each other, and we're forced to integrate with that other version of ourselves?
That's interesting.
Do you remember the episode of Fringe?
Things cannot occupy the same space at the same time.
The episode of Fringe where they were in one of the areas where they were in a town and the merging was happening, and if a person was in the same space at the same time in the town, remember what happened to them? They
merged, and they're always twisted, and okay, take that on the psychological level. All these
but if a person in one of the realities was outside town, they were fine.
Yeah.
It was only when they got into like when one guy jumped into the bus and he started to merge with himself.
Yep.
And then just kind of imploded.
Yeah.
Exploded or whatever. The tones and the sounds for me have been intense in the last 3 days. I actually feel like I've got ears full of water, and there's no reason for that. I haven't been swimming. I haven't, there's no physical reason for it. Bubbling and gurgling going on. But what if that's what's happening? Like the two are joining, so we are forced to merge with this other version of ourselves, and it keeps happening.
And each time, as each fractal, if you will, comes in, it brings the tones with it, which is why the tones are turning into chords, and why the chords are getting louder, because each fractal that comes in is bringing.
Each dimension or each timeline would operate on its own unique frequency.
That's what I'm saying. So the frequencies become chords, because that's what I've said. In the last little while, what's gone from single tones is gone into chords. Literal, I'm a musician, I can't help it. So I think of it in, like, there's perfect fifths. I can hear perfect fifths, and then in minor keys, but it's louder. So it's kind of like the orchestra, each piece of the orchestra coming in with each fractal, maybe. Is that it?
I don't know. I'm just doing a what if.
That's interesting.
But because we haven't spoken about that
we
lately,
haven't.
you kind of tend to forget about it. But it was a huge part of the conversation last year, I think.
It was the fractals. Okay, guys, what
having memories. This was before anything was identified as the Mandela Effect, at least for me.
We were talking about the memories that we were having coming up. It's a rainy day. Maybe we should sit down and have a fringe-a-thon.
Let's have a fringe-a-thon.
Let's have a fringe-a-thon. I may have some leftover stew in the fridge. I could figure that out. Let's have a fringe-a-thon.
Amber preserves DNA.
Well, and there you go. Wow, what was the other movie we just watched? Jurassic World. I just watched Jurassic World as well. What is the whole premise of that? Amber. And the DNA in the mosquito extracted out of the amber. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, I quit. I need to go back to bed.
You can't make that shit up.
I'm going to go back to bed.
So what was it in that video that this guy, the mutant genome or the mutant...
I don't know.
What was he looking... What did they mean by that? The guy kept saying
mutant, and I don't understand what he meant by mutant. He was saying mutant. He was talking about DNA and RNA, and then he kept using the word mutant. But I don't know how it ties in. I haven't watched this guy's videos before, so I don't know if this is something that's coming from a previous video forward.
Paradox. There are 2 movies out. Both have keys to timeline joining. Which ones, Jeff?
I didn't...
If you look on BitTorrent or Pirate Bay, whatever, there's 2. There's an older one that doesn't really make sense unless you really look at it, because it's the 2, I'll spoiler it, the 2 characters go back and forth to each universe, but they're primes, so they only exist in one universe at a time, where everybody else has 2 editions. So that's how you watch that one. And the new one, it's called Paradox.
Uh-huh.
It has some, I forgot, it's a 007 guy, the older guy. I can't remember. There's some big actors. Yeah, Connery.
Oh. Sean Connery?
But you have to understand that, and there's some black dust stuff going on. Now, I messaged you today. I just watched Alice in Wonderland and X-Men Apocalypse, and oh my God.
I haven't watched it yet. No spoiler alerts. I'll download that this evening.
I won't spoil it, but the keys are so deep, I'm even having trouble grasping what they're up to. It's crazy. So.
Okay, so 2 versions of a film called Paradox. Alice, we knew Alice was going to be interesting.
Through the Looking Glass. Oh, it's going to be fucking interesting.
And what's the latest X-Men?
The latest X-Men, which is Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse. So we're going to have to download that tonight too, apparently. Wow.
Okay.
Oh, and I watched 13th Floor. Finally, boring fucking movie. Sorry, hated the movie. It was fucking, the acting was terrible. The whole storyline was fucking suckish. But some interesting shit in that movie.
Which one?
13th Floor.
Oh, you finally watched it?
Yeah, I watched it. He fell asleep. Nick fell asleep. He was just like, oh, seriously, I can't. I almost fell asleep, but I forced myself to stay awake through the whole thing. It's one of those where you watch the movie solely because of the premise that the movie's built on, not for the movie itself because it sucked.
No, it's all about the premise.
The premise of the movie, though, real fucking interesting. And again, you're talking about a simulation within a simulation. You're talking about like that dream state. What is the one with the dreams where you go into? Inception, right? It's the same premise as Inception, and there's all these movies coming out now talking about this whole simulated reality and a simulation within a simulation. That was really, really fucking interesting. And the creators, or the primes, if you will, being able to download into the simulation, into these various characters, i.e. a la Agent Smith, downloading through. Yeah.
Okay, there are 66 new messages in this chat that I haven't even gotten to yet. Remember more. Oh! So on one day on the Collective Imagination recently, we did a doing that was about stopping time or stepping outside of time. So during it, Barbara asked for confirmation in the form of a stopped clock. Right? So one of the things that pops up for her is an Alice in Wonderland, the movie trailer with the stopped clock. She wrote, right, there's my confirmation. And the Alice was mentioned in the CERN, in the video.
CERN, the main part of
CERN.
Well, one of the main segments of the CERN experiment is called Alice, which I've always gone, really? Alice through the looking glass, down the rabbit hole? No, there's no meaning in that.
12 Monkeys Season 2 is now killing off primes who see and hold the timelines.
I don't know what 12 Monkeys is.
Well, I haven't seen the TV series. I only saw the movie years ago with Brad Pitt.
That was with Brad Pitt. It was a terrible movie. It was like...
No, I loved it.
No, but it was very disturbing. Like, the movie itself was
totally, but it was a good movie.
Yeah, but I don't do disturbing very well. I have a good enough imagination. I don't need to watch disturbing movies because I can already imagine shit like that. So
I might have to go and watch the TV show as well then. Primes, as in primates, or prime...
That's what I was just
versions of...
Selves.
Both.
People.
Okay.
Yeah, key humans. It got super interesting season 2.
I think that's on our hard drive, isn't it?
It'll be on the one coming over.
Love you, Jeff. Jeff has always got...
I so hope the weather clears up before you get here.
Yeah, because right now I'm still thinking that we're going to end this call now and go build a fucking ark. It's the wind just blew the doors open. I'm going to grab that, Lise. And the rain is now blowing in on us, which is why I've now got a scarf, and it's gotten real freaking cold. And yeah, we might have to call this quick, I think. Yeah, it's definitely time.
It's getting blowy.
It's getting a wee bit blowy.
So, thanks for joining us on this little impromptu kind of romp around the what the fuck wheel.
The what the fuck wheel. I like it. Can we have a show called the what the fuck wheel?
Spin it. See where it lands.
The what the fuck wheel, and we'll see where the hell it lands this week. Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us.
Don't they let you guys inside? No, they don't.
They don't let us inside.
We have to sit out the porch.
Smoking outside only. Smokers must be kept outside, not step outside. Must be kept outside, locked up outside. On a personal level, yeah, I'm going through some very, very hefty shit. So if anyone can spare a few positive thoughts to send my way, please do. All the details are kind of in the fuckers room. Yeah.
The Channy material entity spoke about timelines merging in the fuse year.
In the fuse
There
year?
is actually a year called the fuse year.
What's the fuse year? Don't say 2016, please.
Can you elaborate, Phil? Yeah. Please elaborate. What's this fuse year?
He's trying to find
it.
Okay. Well, if we get to this, we can always add it onto the end, or continue this conversation on this week's Roundtable What the Fuck Wheel. Will be the round what the fuck table.
The one people round what the fuck wheel. Something.
Yeah, that works. We'll make, you know what, do
it's
we'll,
hard
actually,
enough to say,
we'll get Nick to build us one of the big like Wheel of Fortune type things that'll be like, and this week's show we're going to talk about oh look, insanity, and where are the dinosaurs, and did they exist? Let's go.
Yes, that's the other thing up for question.
No problem, guys. Just if you guys come up with the Channy material stuff like Philip, and I think it was Randy was saying it, just drop us a line on Facebook. Drop us a couple links.
Well, you know, as soon
take
as
a
I
look at it.
press stop, I'm going to look
Yeah,
up
she's gonna
Fanny
look.
and Fusier, of course.
Da-da-da-da-da.
But
Hey, it was
okay.
nice. It was in a slice.
Thank you.
Happy Saturday or Friday. Happy weekend. Bye.
Bye.